Good evening, my lovely crafty people, and here we are again with Junk Journal July UK, and today is day 29, and today's prompt is your favourite supply. I love lace, so there had to be some lace in it somewhere. This is my favourite washi tape at the moment, so I quite like that, and it's quite a nice colour. I've just grabbed another washi tape I quite like as well. I've cut some strips out of my vintage roadmap, UK roadmap book that I have shown in a previous video. I've got a page out of the England book that's nice and thick, some doily, some sheet music, I love a bit of sheet music, a page from my trusty Reader's Digest gardening book, and a napkin that I've covered the page with. And I thought today I'd have a go at doing some kind of tuck spot pocket type thing using the 3 different papers and then embellishing with a bit of lace. I have also really enjoyed the hidden paper clip element, so I'm going to use some of those, and I really enjoyed making the paper birds, so that's why I've cut the paper into strips. So let's get crafting. So to make the pockets, I'm going to fold each of the papers into a point, into a triangle. So just folding along, so like if I was to open that up, that would be a square. So there's one pocket. I'm going to fold this one along there, and that will make another pocket. So just cutting off the excess. I am going to glue these down to each other, and the reason I've folded them and not cut them is because actually it just thickens the pocket as well to make it a bit more sturdy. So we're going to have that one like that one, then that one, and then I'm going to have one more. So just folding it down, cutting off the excess, and all this excess will just go into my scraps drawer, which if you are here from Junk Journal Fairies or Junk Journal Community Chat, you will see the video I posted of someone making a snippet roll using packing tape. I've got this really wide masking tape, and I just thought I'll do it on that because that would probably be easier to glue. So I've just started sticking my scraps down on that, so I might use some of that. I've quite enjoyed doing that. That's quite a nice thing to do if it's not quite 9 o'clock and I can't justify going to bed yet, so I'll just sit and do a little bit of that. Right, so here are our 3 pockets. Let's just very quickly glue them together. And I did go and get myself, well, I actually have a spare one in the drawer, so I have started a new of my super duper Pritt Stick glue stick type thing. I don't get rid of the old one, and I use it if I'm just doing something with a glue spreader, and I will use it up until there's nothing left in it. But for the sake of covering big surface areas, I'll use the new one. And I do just keep going, like I will use that sometimes because you can spread it a bit like PVA. It spreads really well. It's quite a soft glue, but it dries quite well and gives you some good space coverage and stickiness. Okay, so those are my three pockets, and I'm going to line them so they fit a bit like, do I want that one going across like that? Let's have a look on the page. So here's my page. I know I definitely want this one at the front, so we'll have that one there. So that's going to go at the front corner. I think this one I'd quite like to have How did I do it? That way. Quite like to have that brown image of the sweet pea canes. And then this one, I think, just going to have this one. Maybe, do I want that to come over? Do I want that line there? Or do I have it there? Let's have it there. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to use double-sided sticky tape just to stick each of the pockets down. And I'm only going to tape 2 of the sides. So I'm going to tape the 2 straight sides. Hopefully I'm still short. Let's get rid of that. I don't need that sheet at the moment. I'll just launch it behind me. Okay, let's there we go. So today is actually Saturday, and I am this weekend, I have been at work today, I am going to try and finish all of the prompts over the weekend, because I need to crack on with some housework. My house has been totally neglected, completely and utterly neglected. And yeah, I need to actually crack on. Do you know, I really quite like the idea of having that one at an actual angle. I wonder how, yeah. Right, let's stick this one down. So again, we're going to go along 2 of the sides. The 2 straight sides. I know the other one's a straight side, but you know what I mean. It's not a diagonal side. Okay. Come on. Oh, why has it been a bugger? No, it's still been a bugger. Let's try coming at it from this end. Sometimes double-sided tape just plays ball, and other days, which today would have to be, it's been one of those days today where if I'm going to drop it, I've dropped it. Yeah, it's been one of those today where I've got dropsies, and yeah. So I'm just going to trim that little bit there of excess off, and at the top as well. And do we have a third one, or do we? Let's just go with those 2 like that for the moment. We might put the third one in at a later date. Right, so I've got 3 different shades of brown, and I'd like to have them tonally coming in. So I'm going to start with the lighter one, and I'm going to stick it along the edge of this pocket. This lace I just picked up today in one of the charity shops in Stowe, and yeah, it's a really cute little lace actually. Make sure I get that round the right way. Let's just grab a length of the double-sided tape, and we're going to go in. Probably should have added the lace before I stuck the pockets down, but hey ho, it all works out. So I'm just going to rip off. As you can imagine, I do go through quite a lot of double-sided tape, but it's relatively cheap to buy, so it is something I do buy quite a lot of. Why is this not playing ball? There we go. That's stuck down, and then I might have to put some glue under that one because it just lifted, but it's fine. All works out. I'll just stick some glue under it. As you can see, it's been one of those days when nothing goes right. And I think today, I've misplaced my favourite denim jacket. Now, I wear this jacket all autumn. I wear it in the shop in the winter with extra layers underneath, and it really is my favourite jacket. And I think I've lost it today. When I went to go home after work, it wasn't on my peg with my bag, and I think what I've done is I've dropped it in one of the other shops in town. So I'm hoping when I go back into town on Monday, I'll be able to nip into some of the shops and ask them if they've got it. Right, let's, this one, I think, I'm just going to make this one smaller, because I think actually I only want it that big. So really we're coming down to there with the lace. So I'm just going to cut this, and I don't want it both sides. Oh yeah, no, let's have it both sides. So I'm going to stick it down. No, I don't want it doubled. I just want a single layer of it. All will become clear. So I'm just cutting along that line, and I'm going to use that line to stick it down. So where's my tip? Got my sticky tape. Where do we go down to? Just past that. Now in the corner. Hopefully you will have seen my post for day 27. I think labels. No, might not be labels. Might be the, yeah, no, I think it's the labels page. Might be tickets and tags. But at the end of one of the videos, I have walked you through my journal so far and where I'm up to with putting it together. I will do a quick show at the end, just for anyone who might have missed that. But yeah, so I have started sewing the most recent pages together. I will show you that as well. And then let's add in that last pocket. And I think I am going to have the pocket, but I'm going to bring it quite down. So I'm just going to cut it along there. I'm going to cut it a little bit longer up there. And then I'm going to have that stuck here in the corner, just as a tiny little tuck spot. I might grab another page and do something else on that corner. But for now, let's just go with this. So we've got that straight edge. And this straight edge. Okay, yep, the slingshot. There's a fly buzzing around. That's going to really annoy me. Right. Let's have that right in that corner. And then we're going to add that dark brown lace. So you can see I've done kind of tones of brown. I'm going to add that now to this bottom corner. So last bit of sticky tape for now. And I probably could have got away with just covering the top half with the napkin, but if you're gluing a napkin down, sometimes it just makes sense to just glue the whole thing. Makes it a little bit easier than trying to glue a shape of a napkin, which aren't always the easiest things to glue down, because they do bunch up and become pains in the butts. So let's pop that down. So far we've got one pocket here, we've got one pocket here, and the pockets do go all the way down, and then we've got that tiny little tuck spot in the corner. Then just gonna, tape is not playing ball today, so I'm just gonna pop that little bit of glue down. So let's move those over to the side. So the other thing I've grabbed out is some doily, and I just want to kind of mimic the line. This is one of the ones that I received in my Happy Mail. I talked about it in one of my other videos. I just want to mimic that line coming down. To create kind of, just take away the focus of the plain, the book page, even though it is my favourite paper, and I need to start looking out for another one of these books because I slowly am running out of decent pages to use. And I'll just keep using this paper, even if I just start using it as backing paper, if all the pages with all the images are gone, because it's been a faithful friend, this book, through most of my collage journey. Now I'm going to leave that to dry for a minute, and I'm going to make a few of my origami birds. And if you saw my video with maps, you all know how absolutely easy peasy lemon squeezy these are. So you just tie the paper in a knot. I quite like the matte paper. Then you curve round to make the head of your bird, and then you can decide on how you want your tail. Now I have been a bit sneaky, and on some of the other ones I've done, I've kind of added bits to the tail to make it a little bit ornate. So what I've got there is, I'm going to come into that. I'm actually going to come up like that. And then this spare bit that I've got here, I'm just going to do a quick fantail extension. And I'm going to glue that in there as well. So it just gives it a little bit more panache or shazam, or whatever you want to call it. Just finishes the bird nicely. I'm just going to grab some scrap brown paper out of my scrap tray, which I keep under my desk, which is really easy to access at all time, and just make a quick beak. And if you remember, I find it easier to put the glue on the head and stick the head to the beak rather than trying to faff around. Grabbing my pen, let's give it an eye. Now on the other one, what I did do is I went round the outside of my birds just to pick up the kind of the shape of the bird, because I don't want it getting lost in a busy page. So we're gonna just do one. I might do some more later, but for now we'll just do one for now. Okay, I am going to bring that down, and I'm just gonna, okay, so grabbing my paper clips, let's find a little one. I might actually, nice little one I can use. I can cut that one down, that's quite a little one. So I'm just going to cut, because I glued, when I made these, I put quite a lot of glue on them, and I'm going to stick that on the back like that. Just about fits. Look at that. Couldn't be more perfect if we tried. I'm going to use Yoo-Hoo for this just because I really want it to stick. Which way do I want it to? That way. So I'm just sticking that on. And I'll probably make a few more of these in a bit, but for now, I'm just going to leave it at the one. Just going to peg it so the glue dries properly. So that's on my page. I quite enjoy that. So my washi tape, I'm just going to use. So I'm just trying to include little bits of all the materials that I really like to use. Now, when I use washi tape, I do like to run it up an edge of a page, but I don't run it all the way along, and I do like to tear the end. So it really has got that tapey effect. So just having that as a bit of added in the background. And where's the other one? So this one's quite cool. This one's a little tape measure. Got some stuck to my finger. So I'm just going to add some of that in as well. And then I found today this really cool little old book in a donation when I were a lad, and I'm really struggling to find old vintage photographs, but I picked this up and had a good look at it. It's a little bit broken, but in it is some fantastic pictures of kids and really cool. So the one I've taken out is this picture that was actually on its own page, and I have cut out 3 of the children looking at a cat. So I think I might have them kind of just perched on, let's not have them so they'll be covering, let's have them just there. So they're kind of just perched on the edge. Okay, but what I'm going to have to do is glue their feet, because I still want to be able to use it as a pocket. So I'm just going to run a little bit of glue along the edge and down their legs. Now, I did think about making these into fairies, but I think they're just cute as is. Okay, so they're just sat on the edge of that one. I might later stick it all down, because I might find whatever I stick in that pocket is only going to be a little one. In fact, do you know what? Let's make that decision now. Let's stick it down so they are actually just sat on the pocket, looking at something in the corner. Now that might be a bird in the corner. We might have the birds coming up there. Then I've still got this bit of space here that I want to put something on. So to my brown scraps I go. I'm going to take a bit of this packing paper, which I've used quite a lot. I'm just going to fold it into corners. I'm just going to tear a bit of a circle off. Might make it a bit smaller. So actually just see if I can't get that to be more of a demi-circle. Yep, so we could have that scrunched up. I do like to scrunch it up a bit. Let's have that on the page as well. Come on, little chap. Stuck his head down, didn't I? Just want to come under your head, my little chappy friend. And I'm just going to stick that down. And I am going to, on the top of that, I'm going to use some of my black thread, if I can find black thread. Yeah, it's a really old thread as well, so it's kind of losing some of its colour. But I'm going to just pull off a big globule of that. Probably should have done brown. Let's grab the brown, bear with. Oh. Just in my thread drawer, in my thread box. So this is a really vintage spool of thread that I got from an ex-friend's stepmom's house when we were sorting it out. It's a waxed thread as well, which is really nice actually. Probably should have used this for gluing the sewing the pages together, but hey ho, I've used white. Okay, so I'm just going to stick that down, just making it sure it's stuck to the glue, just giving me a little bit of jip. Let's stick that down as well. And I'm not sure what I'm putting in the pockets yet. They will be an afterthought. I might do a little filling the pockets video and going through my journal and filling the various pockets that I've got, because I've done lots of the collaging but haven't really filled many of the pockets. I don't want him being castrated or strangled or whatever the word is. And then let's go with my trusty paper flowers. Black, no. Purple, no. Where's the browns? Blue, green. Is that brown? Yeah. Oh, I'm really running low on the brown ones. So my trusty paper flowers, and I think I might pull some of from that peach at the top. Let's have quite a peachy browny one. So we'll have that. Let's pull out a smaller kind of buff coloured, and have I got a teeny tiny dark brown? Let's get rid of that orangey one. It doesn't really fit. What have I got in the orange? Have I got a really pale peach actually in the orange pack? No. I want something. What about if we had a larger one in that buff and then we have a more orangey one small? That might work a bit better. The orange was a bit too orange. So I'm just going to stick those down, and then I'm going to stick some buttons on them. I do like a paper flower and a button. So I need to grab my brown buttons. So we've got 3 little children, 3 pockets, 3 flowers. So I really should have got everything out ready before I started, and you'll be having to listen to me rummage through all the drawers. There's the browns. But this is the beauty of having my craft area so small at the moment, that I can literally just turn around and grab things. And it makes it really easy to pack everything away at the end as well, because I just roll around on my chair and just pack everything away. So I'm just finding 3 buttons. That one can be a slightly bigger one. What's that one? Yeah, let's have that one. Let's have that one, not quite so yellow. So let's just pop those in. And so I've used sheet music, page from my good old trusty garden book, some lace, a vintage picture. I am going to pop stuff in these pockets, so I'm not too fussed about covering that. And then what I'm going to do is find a piece of scrappy paper. This one will do. And I'm going to fold it over like that. got a paper bird going on, which we can stick onto our lace. He needs to come that way, because that's the way I've stuck his paper clip. So he's on there. I might have another one coming out the other way. Well, another two, because let's be honest, we should have threes. I'm going to grab this corner kind of page tab tool. It's quite clever. I mean, I'm more than capable of just cutting it myself, but all hard work's done. And let's write, 29, my favourite supplies. And then I'm just going to cut that there, because with this tool you have to then turn it over to do the last edge. Okay, so my favourite supplies. And as I said, I will come back to this page, and once I've completely finished the journal, I'm going to go back through it, and I'm going to make things to just pop in the pockets. I didn't go around the edge of that. I'm just adding some of the bronze just on the edge of that. I did go around the kids after I cut them out. Okay, so I'm just going to go round the edge with the bronze. I am going to get my ink dabber thingy out as well, because it just dulls the corners. And I'm going to just run that before I stick this on. I'm just going to run that down the edge. Oh, I haven't rounded the edge on this page. I might go back and do that. I might not. I'll decide in a bit. But for now, I want to get the page done so that you can see what the page done looks like. And so I'm just gluing the page tab on. So I'm going to be very careful. Pop it on there. Flip it over. And pop it there. Doesn't quite look straight, but again, that's fine. So that is today's page, with using some of my favourite items that we've used in this project. I might have a look in my stamp box. I'm definitely going to make another bird. I might even make 2 more. I might still, let's just give this paper flower some definition, just using my doodle pen. Coming around the outside, Let's do this one as well. Just kind of lifts the whole flower, doesn't it? Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah. So I've gone global with my followers. A big shout out to the lady from Australia who sent me a message. Sorry, my darling, I cannot remember your name, but I did reply to you. So big shout out to my Australian viewers. Gone global. It's such a little buzz. It's like I've never been kind of one for followers or likes or anything like that. But yeah, it's like a little buzz, isn't it? So I'm just going to bring that round, almost like I doodled it. There we go. So that's today's page done. Let me just very quickly show you how I have been sewing them together. So these are the last 2 pages I've done. And all I do on each page is I run a line of blanket stitch, and I do 1 stitch blanket, and then I do a slip stitch into the blanket stitch from the page before. So that one will be sewn in as well. And then all of the pages will be sewn into my Junk Journal journal. Apologies. And this has already had lots sewn in. So I've already got 1, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 plus 1, so 26 there. And then I think the last one's going to be a 6 as well. It might be a 5. And all I've done is I've sewn those in exactly the same way, and then using this pink thread I have doubled it up and I've sewn them in. So it's just a running stitch, but as I come in through there I loop it through the holes and then down, and you'll see what I mean by needing to fill my pockets. But I will probably do a walkthrough video of the whole thing completed. Once that's all sewn in, I will tidy up these corners and I will fix it into the journal. I have explained how I made it in one of my other videos, and I possibly at some point will do a video, but they're really easy. Just Google making a journal. It's basically 3 sheets of card. You have 2 squares or whatever shape you want, and then you have your spine as wide or as thin as you want, and making sure you leave about ½ centimetre gap between the spine and the front and back cover. And I just use gaffer tape. To fix it together, and then I cover it in PVA and fabric generally. I have made several, but I will do walkthroughs of other ones. So thank you for watching. Whistle stop tour of my favourite resources. I'm really quite pleased with that. It does need something down here, not sure what yet, but I'll definitely make another little birdie. Maybe something down here for the kids to be focusing on, maybe a cluster. I mean, that's a little bit of a cluster. But yes, thank you for watching.